Okay, so let's unpack this. We have a stack of documentation here for a piece of hardware with a pretty serious name. It's the Zenty ZT-118 4x4 4K 60Hz HDBaseT HDMI Matrix Extender.
It is definitely a mouthful.
Yeah.
But every single part of that name actually solves a very specific physics problem.
Right. And the mission for this deep dive is to really understand that solution. We're looking at how you can take high-end video sources, like your cable box, an Apple TV, maybe a PS5 or a PC, and get those signals to screens all over a large house, or even a sports bar.
Exactly. And without the quality falling apart. Because the core issue we are dealing with here is that standard HDMI cables are just terrible at long distances. You get about 15, maybe 20 feet before the signal degrades or completely cuts out.
Which is a nightmare if you're trying to, hide all your messy gear in a central closet somewhere. So this Zenty unit uses HDBaseT technology to solve that.
It does, yeah. HDBaseT essentially tricks the really heavy video signal into traveling over standard Cat5 or Cat6 Ethernet cables.
The exact same cheap cables running through the walls of most modern homes for internet.
Precisely. And because of that, this unit can push a full 4K signal at 60 Hz up to 130 feet away.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you drop the resolution to 1080p, you can actually reach 230 feet.
Okay, so that covers the extender part of the name. Now, the matrix part. I assume we aren't talking about dodging bullets in slow motion here.
Not quite. In the AV world, a matrix is really just about routing flexibility. This is a 4x4 matrix, meaning you have 4 inputs and 4 outputs.
Got it.
So you can route input 1 to all screens, or every single screen can show something completely different. It gives you total control over what goes where.
But here is where it gets really interesting for me. I was looking at the spec sheet, and it says 4x4 matrix, but then the documentation claims it supports up to 12 displays. I ran the numbers twice. How do you get 12 screens out of a 4-output box?
It's a bit of a hidden feature in the architecture. So you have the main unit in your server rack with 4 HDBaseT outputs going to the remote rooms. But right next to those on the main chassis, there are 4 mirrored local HDMI outputs.
Oh, okay. So you can have a local monitor for every remote TV right there in the server closet.
Exactly. That gets you to 8 screens. Then the final 4 come from the receivers. The kit actually includes 4 receiver boxes.
Those are the little units that sit behind the remote TVs, right?
Yes. Zenty engineered these with dual HDMI outputs.
That is wild. So a single Ethernet cable runs to your living room, and the receiver can split that signal to 2 different TVs on the exact same wall.
That is correct. It effectively turns a 4-zone system into a 12-screen system if you utilize every single port.
That is surprisingly dense connectivity. And speaking of those receivers, I noticed the manual highlights Parity-C or power over cable.
That is a massive quality of life feature for installation. The main unit sends electricity straight down the Ethernet line to power those receivers.
Meaning no bulky power bricks needed behind the wall-mounted flat screen.
None at all. It keeps the installation behind the TV incredibly clean and simple.
Now, what about quality? If I'm sending a signal 130 feet away, does the picture look compressed? The specs list, 4.4.4 chroma sampling. What does that actually mean for the viewer?
It is all about color precision. Most streaming video compresses color information to save bandwidth, which is 4.2.0. But 4.4.4 means this unit transmits uncompressed color data.
Which I imagine is crucial if you are connecting a PC, right? Because if you don't have 4.4.4, text usually looks pretty blurry.
Precisely. If you are running a PC or a high-end gaming console through this matrix, that support ensures crisp text and accurate HDR10 or Dolby Vision colors.
And it looks like the audio is just a straight pass-through.
Yes, it handles all the major formats, Dolby Digital Plus, DTS HD Master, Dolby True HD. Whatever the source sends, the Zenty passes right along.
So what does this all mean for the budget? Because this doesn't sound like a casual gadget purchase.
No, this is pro-grade infrastructure. The MSRP sits around $2,280, though the materials mentioned you can find discounts. It also comes with a 5-year warranty.
So you really have to view this as a home improvement investment.
Very much so. It is built to be the nervous system of a smart home. It's controllable via a web GUI over Ethernet, an IR remote, or RS-232 automation systems.
It basically connects everything but stays completely invisible. Ideally suited for anyone who wants a really clean setup without seeing a single cable box.
That is exactly the goal.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive. As transmission tech like HDBaseT becomes more and more robust, are we moving toward a future where all media hardware is permanently hidden in a server closet, leaving our living spaces with nothing but screens?
It certainly looks that way. The hardware itself is disappearing, leaving just the experience.
Something for you to think about the next time you look at that mess of wires behind your TV. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.